Welcome back. This is part 2 of modeling the body exterior for the Lotus49. In the first part, we started making the nose cone, and now I'm going to continue extruding that shape all the way back. We'll combine these because that's the easiest way to extrude, since the shape is so similar from this point on. This will be pretty quick. I'm going to make this mesh single-sided so I can see through the inside of it. Make it a little bit easier to work with. Again, looking at this line from a very sharp angle so I can see continuity. We'll bring this one all the way back. We're gonna have to add this segment here as well later, so that we get that sharper corner here. Look fairly good. Let's see what we have. I'm seeing a bit of a wiggle down here, so I'm gonna try to fix that. Need to maybe I should add that line there. If we have a look at the scan data, looks like this. Trying to find a ref image of the bottom. This is a fairly good one, but it doesn't have... Can't see the nose cone really. if it's very hard to find, then it's going to be very hard to see in the final render as well, so I'm not going to be too picky about it. I'm just going to try to follow what the Tamiya scan has done here, which is the sharpness runs from the back to the front and it starts to taper off the further we go here. So that's what we're going to try to do. Right now we have no sharpness here, but fix that. Just looking at the rear part here, I will fix the front when I've nailed this, basically. I think that's pretty good. We get that sharp line and it tapers off, but we have some issues here because we let this extra line travel too far. It doesn't have to be all the way to the front. Here we need to smooth this out a bit. Sure if we need this line. That's pretty good. And make sure that we even everything out a bit. That's good enough. Let's have a look at line here. I think should go up a bit. That's a better fit. And now we need to make sure that the body swells a bit here in the middle. I think only in width, not in height. Like those. Scale from the middle and out. Looking at this area here. Just make sure that something like that. And probably need to adjust this one as well. Just a tiny bit like that. That's a nice cigar-shaped body right there. And of course we need to now go in and adjust for height as well. The top part here. smooth this line out a bit here. Like, just need to add some height, it seems like. Especially around here. Probably even out these segments a bit now. Gonna be easier to control the curves that way. Or the lines of the body. It's a bit closer now. Just gonna clean up my outliner here. Because Maya sometimes leaves empty groups and leftover stuff when you combine meshes. I like to keep track of cleaning up that once in a while so I don't end up with a rat's nest in there. Okay, so looking at this, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna adjust this line here a tiny bit. Basically don't want any line to be completely flat or straight because this is a very organic shaped body. We have some wobbliness around here. This line I need to iron out a bit. And then the bottom part is actually supposed to be flat, so leave that as is. Let's check against the curves. It's fairly well. Check it against the blueprints as well. I think that's look good. From this point, we could put these together. Merge the center line. And I'm actually going to make a copy of this mesh now. Call it body original. Put it in a group called originals. Put that on the top and just hide it away. So that's our backup. From this point on, we're going to smooth and freeze this mesh. So we're going to lose the ability to make any big changes. So if we have to go back, we have the original mesh right there. So what's the next step? Let me see. I think I'm gonna try to tackle this area here. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to mock up this triangular shape here to see how it fits before I do anything more to this. And it looks like the radius around this, the radius of this cylinder is actually kept pretty similar, judging by the reflections here. So it goes, this part goes in like this until it hits the body. And let's see, we have the profile of that shape here. So what we could do is just create a plane that has that shape, and then we can just rotate it in. See what that looks like. So we can start from this cylinder, just copy that, remove the caps. And we don't need that many. Segments. I'm just gonna clean up my materials here. Call this one M underscore, M as in material, underscore you can say paint look dev. We can delete this one here and this one here. Then every other segment like this. It's a bit simpler. Extrude it in. I haven't talked a lot about which tools I use because I mainly use very simple things like extrude, move, scale, merge, stuff that is available in every 3D package out there. So it's pretty, all the things I've done here is pretty standard stuff when it comes to subdivision modeling. Shouldn't be hard to find out how to do it in different programs. So let's see. So extrude, move down. Just gonna add one more segment up here. Try to keep it the same width as the other ones, just to nice curve. Just gonna extend this one. Something I do in Maya a lot is change the gizmo, the pivot, or like the working, what do you call it? Working coordinates. I can do it, I can align it to edges like this. Orient it and snap it to vertices or anything like that, which makes it very easy to extend stuff in the right direction. Okay, so I think we have that shape now. Could just try. See what happens. Would be good to see side view of that area. Kind of hits where this shape almost looks like this front part is a bit flatter here. Side. Yeah, it does. So it kind of tapers into this shape. we have. Look at this image here and trying to line up the car. Somewhat similar fashion. Not going to be that. I would say it's somewhere around here. Okay. So I'm trying to look at this line here. Just make sure that my lines are kind of following that flow, because that's how I vision it. But we can definitely see that the front here is too rounded out right now. It's a bit odd, because looking at the factory blueprints from the front, we have all of these cross sections showing that it's very smooth. So I'm gonna have to judge this by eye. Just make something that looks good. But I can see around this part here that it looks like it's fairly flat up there. Somewhere around here. Oh, we're too far back. Need to move this forward to here. So right now I'm just trying to figure out this whole area. If we imagine that somewhat flat, if we smooth this one. It's definitely round behind, like the rear part, definitely round. Just the nose cone that has this weird flatness to it, I think. Then again, at this image it looks completely different. It's very sharp. It actually looks fairly round. Not sure what to do around that area. clearly see that it's pretty flat here. Let's see on the 49B reference here. It's not the same exact car, but it has the same body type. It's actually pretty flat. Yeah, you can see this tube going down here. The front nose cone covers kind of that from if we look from the front. So it makes sense that it has to be a bit wider down here. So if you look at the scan data maybe, we can see that. No, the scan data actually has the same. But it's not very accurate, so I'm gonna have to go in between on that. Just take a decision and do it. I'm going to make a copy of this. And mirror it, see what it looks like if we add the rear one. looks like it's fairly similar shape. They have these pop rivets attaching it, where this one is kind of flowing into the body more. Definitely point more downwards, I think. Melting in the shape like this. Then it to more like this shape. On some of the images, it looks like the rear one is very, very long. Not like on this here. The very, very, almost touches that circular thing there. Which I think we can see in the scan data. Kind of in the middle here. Almost touches that, which would mean we're around here. Certainly looks pretty cool. Have it longer, I think. See it here. Circular hole here. The center of that hole is, I think, here. The windscreen starts. Yeah, that's right. The rear one should tape. Looks like it tapers in a bit. But it's also very dependent on which model you look at, so very hard to know what's correct. You can see on this 49B model, it's very sharp. Tapers in. I like that. Gonna go for something, make it a little bit longer. I'd like to find a side view where I can see kind of the angle. You see it here, the reflection, it kind of follows the body line on the rear at least. I think it should do on the front as well. So pretty good. Maybe you can move up a little bit. That. And should be good. Scale that a bit. Nice taper. Maybe not. I think that looks pretty good. We get that same kind of has a bit of a curvature to it as well. Like that. And I think to have that width-wise as well. We have to keep this the same. So I just this do it from right here. Maya bugs. A bit more dynamic shape. Really good with the rear. Just supposed to look like it does. So let's try to chop the front. Would be interesting to see the front without nose cone. Okay, so it actually goes, see it here, small inset here in the body. Good. Yeah, okay, so it lines up with that line here. So to be able to join these two, I would need many more segments on this one. So I think at this point, I'm going to detach the front. So, or actually no, not yet. I want to make sure that I have whole. No, actually, just make sure to smooth it before I detach. Otherwise, it's not going to keep shape. Do that. Now we have this to work with. So right now I'm trying to find some natural way to join the two, and that's going to be hard when this one has so many segments. I can begin with deleting that. Let's see here. Extend this one. Just going to lie on top of the other one a little bit. We need to remove half of this. And at this point, we can start modifying so that they line up better. This means we can pretty much delete these faces because we won't need them later. We do need to add at least one line here. You can use that to make it a bit more. I use the word dynamic, which means basically it's not completely flat. It has everything has some curvature to it. Makes it look much more realistic. So I think we need to start thinking about how to join these. We want to make this as smooth not super smooth, it's kind of sharp, but still gonna be transition here. And this top part actually looks kind of flat. It looks like there's a sharp, almost seam here. That the top part is flat and then the curvature starts down here. Really hard to see in any other images. Maybe this one. That shape could come naturally when we add a line here. Look. We get that half sharp line going across. Pretty happy with that. Now we need to make sure that these line up. Then we have to cut out part here as well. One thing at a time. I'm gonna start to manually cut where I think we want mesh. And I'm kind of crude at this point. I just go about and cut something like this. One can up here. And just try to adjust it a little bit better so don't have a crazy mismatch. Move that. Also that. Now I'm gonna put these two together. Start patching up whatever I deleted. Make sure that it matches up with the added part. Now this, we have pinching here because we have a triangle right there. Just start to manually clean up a little bit here. Probably let this one run like this for now. And that there. See what that. And I think that looks pretty cool. Have that same kind of flatness going across here, which I like. And even more if we add this line here that we need. It actually go out like this to smooth it out a little bit. just trying to correct some of the weird topology going on here. A bit smoother. That. Actually, it would be nice to have a little bit of that freeze going on there. That kind of tapers off over the top here. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's run this one. And then this one should actually continue past here. See? Over there. Needs to follow the curvature a bit up. We're gonna fix the rounded corner thing later when we give it thickness. So let's see from the top again. We have, looks like, quickly look at the factory blueprints. Oh, here it looks perfectly, a perfect radius on that edge, but I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that. Maybe it is. It looks pretty nice with it flat. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Let's just make sure that it doesn't intersect too much up here. I want it to lie on top. So they have these I think it's Dessous fasteners, these gray things here. It kind of clamps down on top of the other one. Give it a bit height, like this. The fastener sits around here, so it's going to clamp down on this thing. Means we should make it follow that curve. Can't have it like this. Oh, I'm going to bring this down. So. And then we're going to need, and that's perfect because we have a triangle here, and we can make that into a quad just by going, give us this much needed edge over there. Delete this one. Another edge here that we can bring down. And we can actually take these in a bit, that they follow that edge here better. Sometimes instead of moving things, I go in and I make a cut and then delete the other edge instead. That makes it, you get an average of the curve that you had before, which is sometimes very nice. Okay, so now we can see that it's, we have this little dip down here, because it's actually clamped down. think you can see that a little bit here, this ref image. And I want to smooth that out a bit, so I'm gonna add an edge here. And slowly but surely we are getting a nice topology. I don't like the way that it goes wavy like this, so I'm gonna that. Wonder if we need this, just, or if we could do that. That looks pretty good. I like the way that it's not perfect, but I want to even out these a bit. It's always good to even out size of the polygons if you can. Quick things like that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Better shape. So we have a minimum amount of segments and polygons to be able to make the shapes we want, but we don't have too many, so it doesn't end up being uncontrollable. Where did my curves go? Oh. That. Let's continue working on the nose cone. We still have this cutout area to make. Which is going to... It needs to... I should probably look in the side view when I cut this. And right now I'm just guesstimating to get something to work with. I think that should be it. can delete everything that we don't want to keep. Make this work. This area down here is not going to be very visible at the end. It follows the curve pretty well. Side view. You might want to actually pull it in a bit here. It's going to be way too sharp. Looking at some different topologies here. Don't like this super sharp line happens here. Or what if we do this? Look a bit better. Bring it out. Like that. Like so. That's pretty good. Actually, See what happens if we try to follow the general shape here. Might be even better. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, let's see. What's left on the nose cone. I think that's pretty much it. It does need to go in a bit. In the front. Got a good view here. That's pretty good. Right. We also have the emblem sitting there. Not sure if that's paint or if it's a... does look like it has some thickness to it, but there's no indent in the body panel underneath, so I think it's just glued on. We can wait with that. We do have the Zeus fasteners sitting on top there. You see that they stick up a bit, and that's fine. I don't think we need to make anything special on this mesh for it. Do want to have a look at this corner here. It's a bit sharp, maybe. We can tweak that as well when we give it thickness. Right now, it looks like our body is a bit too soft compared to the ref image. It kind of keeps flat a bit more. So I'm going to adjust that. Looks better, I think, compared to the ref. We straighten these out a bit. Yeah, I like that. But I think we lost that crease that goes over here. I'm gonna try to bring it back just a little bit by moving this line forward. Yeah, there you have it. Looks pretty good. Adjustments, or I commit and just give it some thickness. quick look over once more. I think I forgot anything. Okay. Again, I'm mirroring and putting these two pieces together, and then make a copy, put it in my originals group here, call it own original, just so I have some backup. I want to give this inner edge slight rounding inwards so that it catches, like the highlights roll off a little bit better. So that's just scale and move it in. It's not going to be huge. Level. Something like that. Looks a bit smoother. See, let's see what these edges look like. If they're just cut. I think so. They look kind of sharp to me. Okay. We could go over and even this out by adding another line here going across. Sure if we need that. Could be nice. It would make it easier to make this corner a bit more round. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna delete the original that I made. Go back. And we are going to that a more extreme angle, make it line up here. We're going to create another one. Then even this out a bit as well. Now we could take this, do it like that, then have this guy end up in the middle, which gives us an extra edge here that we can make a more controlled corner. think that topology looks a lot better. We still have a triangle here, but I'm not sure if that's going to matter. Could try making space for it by doing this. Oh, now instead we have kind of weird topology curving around here. I don't like that, so I'm going to go back to straight lines. This a bit. And that looks sweet. Okay, pretty happy with that. Sure if I just smooth it once more, maybe. Gonna make a copy of that. Nose cone original. Okay, let's try and give it some thickness. Maya is not very good at doing this kind of thing. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it likes to just explode the mesh. Oh, in terms of thickness, I think around 2 millimeters is a good thickness. Not exactly sure what they used in real life, but probably around there. Now my mesh turned black because it extruded everything inside out. I just have to reverse my normals like this. We're done. So now that we have a thickness, remove half of it again. And then we need to treat the corners a little bit. Add one. This is never going to be seen, but like being what do you call it? Like having everything done so I can sleep at night, basically. So when it comes to these corners, I don't think they're supposed to be razor sharp, so I'm gonna add a bevel to them. It's gonna be a small bevel. Something like that, I think. Probably easier to do it after. I'm gonna add chord lines. I'm gonna need to add it manually in these areas. So it's just a case of cutting. And you want to make sure to have roughly the same thickness all the way around. Right now, don't. A bit thicker here. Actually, I think it would have been easier to make these edge cuts before I give it thickness. I'm just gonna go back. See if I have everything. Yeah. There are probably better ways to do this. I'm just stuck in my old-fashioned self. So we're gonna go in and add some edges here. Quite a lot of manual labor going on. Yes, this is supposed to be rounded off quite a bit. So I'm going to leave it like that. And I think same way at this corner here. This one should be... Yeah, I want to do the same thing here. I don't like having super sharp corners. So at this point, I think we should be able to give it some thickness. Good. Good. Don't like how it bends off like this. So I'm gonna have to add port. That. Maybe even segment like this. Or like that. Endless tweaking back and forth. Just trying out some different things here. Make sure that I get the right kind of radius for that edge, and I think that's pretty good. Right. Okay, so let's mirror it again, put it back together. See what it looks like in here. And now I can save. The nose cone original again for the 24th time. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Give this thickness 2 millimeters. Yeah, 2 is good. Reverse it. I always give thickness inwards because we are modeling the outer shell. We don't want to give it thickness outwards because that's going to throw off everything that we did. Let's see, it handled it fairly well. Smooth it, looks pretty cool. A bit pinchy at this corner here, but I actually think it is in real life as well. Just need to adjust the curvature here a bit. We don't want that overly straight kind of look to it. A lot better. That looks a lot better. Let's do it all over again. Copy into originals. I'm gonna smooth it once more before I give it thickness. Maybe move this. Let's keep it and see what happens. It's 2. Pretty good radius right there. See here that my messed it up a bit. Have to go and clean it up. Go over the mesh and see that everything is okay. It is not okay here. We're good now. see what happened here. Got a lot of edges. Just gonna trim it down to like that. It's gonna look nice. I would like to adjust where this line goes so it doesn't taper out so much. So this corner bulges out a bit. Just gonna that a bit tighter. That looks a lot better. I'm seeing an issue here. Or maybe it's not a big problem. You can see here that I should have smoothed the mesh before I made the cutout, because now I have something that resembles this base mesh rather than this. Sure, I can go back at that now. The issue is here. Let's see. Completely missed that part. So, okay, I'm just gonna have to bite the sour apple and redo it. What happens when you rush things? So if I take this mesh here, smooth it, then I should have a good reference for where we need to be. I think we need to some adjustments there. It's mainly this line here that is too close to this this one. We need to even those out a little bit. That looks a lot better already. think we need to do the same thing here. Sure that I didn't select anything stupid. Just move it out a tiny bit. A lot. Oh, not a biggie right there. Do the same procedure again. Save it as original. Boom. Okay. What did we do last time? We made smoothed it first, right? Yes. And adjust the thickness here. Annoying. Times. Let's go and something more local. Sometimes the local translate C works better than thickness. This case seems like it. And adjust here. And there we go. That's going to be enough for today. Next part, we will continue with the rear part, the body exterior. So I'm going to call that nose cone done. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.